Oh, well, I suppose it's coffee with Dan. I'm afraid I'm being very English today and drinking tea because we're talking after lunch. Hi, welcome to today's vlog. One of the things I love about YouTube is the sense of community that exists within it. When I stopped my vlog a few weeks ago, months ago, the comments and messages I received, the willingness from some people to get involved in the return of the vlog was just amazing. But there's even a kind of a step up from that with fellow creators and especially fellow musicians. And a few weeks ago I was looking at different ways of trying to approach teaching Moment's Notice, the Coltrane tune, which is a very, very difficult piece to improvise over. I was trying to look at a different approach for students because kind of my approach wasn't necessarily hitting through the way that I wanted it to and the way it works for me. And I stumbled across a guitarist called Mikko Hilden, who is based in Sweden, and he had a lesson on it. I was like, that's a really, really fresh approach to doing it. And so I carried on watching a few more of his videos, as maybe some of you have done with my videos. You sort of stumble across people, you think, I like them, I like the way they do their stuff, I want to know more. I hit the subscribe button, and then a few weeks ago I was looking through more of the stuff and thinking, this guy needs more subs. So I wanted to use some of my subscriber base, which is a little higher, to try and help Mikko with his stuff, because I think even if you're not a guitarist, which I'm not, but as a saxophone player and as a musician, he is a really, really good teacher and he's got some really great ideas. So here is a coffee with Dan with Mikko. I am in Cambridge, he is in Stockholm, and we even managed to play a duet at the end. So enjoy. So welcome along to another Coffee with Dan. I am absolutely thrilled that I have Mikko Hilden, who is joining me all the way from Stockholm in Sweden. A special almost World Cup flavour as England take on Sweden tomorrow. Although we'll keep it very, very friendly, and we won't mention the World Cup too much. Mikko, thank you very much for joining us on a Coffee with Dan.
My pleasure. It's thank you for reaching out. I've been interested in jazz since late teens, I guess, and coming from like a rock background, I guess, and then I started listening to jazz, fusion, and then more and more jazz, right? Like most guys of my generation, I guess, getting into Mike Stern and those types of players. And as far as that was, it's a very long story. I'm obviously going to try to keep it short, but the YouTube thing was something that I was always interested in since it came around, I guess. And I was actually in a teacher's college program where we were talking about that, how YouTube can kind of affect my role as a guitar teacher. So I wrote a thesis on it, actually, that was recently published, my bachelor degree thesis. And then I figured I'll give it a try because I think it's kind of the future.
You mentioned teaching, so do you have a private teaching practice yourself as well as doing YouTube videos?
No, I'm a full-time guitar teacher.
Right,
We have a public music school system here in Sweden, so yeah.
You teach in schools. Excellent. Oh, well, I suppose it's coffee with Dan. I'm afraid I'm being very English today and drinking tea because we're talking after lunch. So, what do you have down there? Are you a coffee drinker or a tea drinker?
Third cup of the day, so.
What's that, coffee?
Yeah.
So what do you have a particular...
Pardon?
Do you have a particular brand that you drink or type of coffee or country?
No, really. I'm not a snob. I always wanted to be a teacher, right? And I don't separate the teacher from a musician. I think we're kind of both, right? Even if teaching kids, you're kind of performing, and the performer is also teaching.
What's been your best purchase under £70? What's that, about €80?
I guess, I don't know if you can see my new amp.
Yeah, I can see the little amp down there.
That would be more than that, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I bought this tuner because I'm usually, when I teach, right, you see a lot of bad stuff, like equipment-wise.
Yeah.
So I'm sick of bad tuners. This is a Polytune.
There we go, in the middle there. Yeah.
It's a very, very good one.
If you had a time machine, whether it's a DeLorean or something more subtle, would you go forward or backwards, and where would you go to?
I'm an optimist, so I'm going to say forward. How about yourself? What time would you go to? I'm assuming you would go in the future as well.
You see, I don't know. There's part of me, I do like my history, and...
if you do like your gadgets.
Yeah, but I do like my... That's exactly it. So I'd probably have to take those all back with me, maybe. There's a part of me, I remember my teacher telling me how he was in New York in the 50s hearing Miles and Train live. And there is certainly a part of me that would just like to be sat in the Vanguard one night and just hearing that, the energy of that. But possibly... do you know what? I'm going to come up with even more curveball. Because it's taken me so long to learn to live in the moment, I'd actually not go in the time machine. But what advice would you give to someone who's choosing a music college, either for undergrad or for masters? You know, what's the kind of things that they should be looking for, in your opinion, when they're looking at a music college?
Yeah, I hear that question coming up a lot. A lot of people are saying that it's not worth it. I see a lot of like YouTube channels or videos about that, and I'm a firm believer in education and in the college and university as institutions, that they're important. Research on like who is teaching there, what are the different schools have different profiles. Some of them are more like bebop and traditional, and some are more like Trondheim in Norway, or more like free, kind of like do your own thing.
Well, maybe do one favorite of all time, and then one of now, and then a random one.
Man, that's tough. I wish I could look at
You're on a desert island, so you'd have to listen to it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm listening to classical music.
Yeah?
So I would say Chick Corea, Light as a Feather, for all-time favorites. And something that I'm listening to at the moment, like I'm listening a lot to Egberto Gismonti, this Brazilian. But I don't have a specific album.
Yeah.
And then I guess some of the ECM catalog, like Keith Jarrett's, what's his album called? Well, it's actually a Kenny Wheeler album, New High, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
With Keith Jarrett on it. So this is...
So where can people get that from?
It's on Spotify.
On Spotify, cool.
I guess you can find it on iTunes.
Well, what I'll do a link. I'll put those albums together into a playlist as well, and I'll stick that below as well, so people can find that.
This is my gypsy jazz group from Canada.
Oh, excellent. So, are you a big Django fan then?
I am. I'm not playing that as much as at the moment, but that's a huge part of my my player personality, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, this is going to be a first for Coffee with Dan, because despite being, I don't know, 700-800 miles away, we're going to have a jam together. So, yes. What should we do?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself, Mikko.
All right. Thanks.
Make sure people check you out. Cheers. Bye-bye. So, one little problem. The swimming pool needs to go there, because it's the only bit of flat land I've got. And the hose pipe finishes here. So how do I get the water from here into there? So swimming pool up, barbecue eaten, toasting marshmallows. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you really soon.